How did the Conservatives tackle the threat of reform? Because 5 months ago, Boris, you spoke to Patrick Christie's, my colleague.
Yes, great. Yes.
You said to Patrick, of course the Conservatives will recover, and Patrick said, you don't see a Prime Minister Farage then, and you said absolutely not. That was 5 months ago. Since then, reform have been topping every single poll going by some significant margin. Have you changed your mind on that?
Look, let's see what happens. I still think that my party, the Conservative Party, will recover. And I tell you, and I've said
how can they tackle reform?
Because we're offering serious, sensible policies on home ownership, on the economy, things that people really care about.
You don't think reforms policies are serious?
I can't think of one, to be honest. Except they don't want to reform welfare. That's the only thing I can think of. They don't want to scrap the the cap on benefits for families with more than 2 children.
They do want to scrap that, yeah.
No, they do want to scrap it.
Yeah. Mass deportations.
And I think it's completely mad. You know, why should working people be paying more and more in their taxes for families that choose to have more and more kids?
Can I ask you then why they're topping the polls? Why do you think they're topping the polls? Why are the public being allured to
I don't know. You must know. You'd have to.
Come on, you're former Prime Minister.
I'm going to remind you. Let me remind you of the answers I normally give. Well, when I was Prime Minister, can you remember what they were in the polls?
Reform.
Can you remember? I'm going to tax your.
Probably very low, but I'd argue
they were between 0 and 3%.
Farage wasn't leader.
Hovering between 0 and 3%.
I'm not here to defend reform, but I don't think Farage was leader at the time. It was Richard Tice, maybe. Farage came a bit later.
What I'm saying is they were on 0%, okay, right. And which is where they should be and where they will be again.
Okay.
So, but seriously, look. I mean, you know, my anxiety about all these parties not just in our country, but if you look at AFD, look at Reform, look at Le Pen, where I think they're all particularly worrying is on foreign policy in Ukraine in particular, and on Putin. And there I look back at some of the things that Reform have said about NATO provoking the war in Ukraine, and I shudder, right? I really care about it.
So you don't think that's a valid argument for the conflict in Ukraine?
No,
you have no empathy.
I think
Putin's a despot dictator. We all agree with that, yeah. But you don't have any empathy with the suggestion that NATO were encroaching on their borders. No.
Total rubbish. Putin launched that war as an act of aggression to distract from all his domestic failures, and because he wants to rebuild the Russian Empire. He knew fine well that Ukraine was not going to join NATO in a month of Sundays. There were about 4 or 5 countries in NATO that would have vetoed it flat out. France, Germany, Hungary, everybody was going to say NATO. It was complete nonsense.
How does this war end?
It was complete nonsense, and it is really, really worrying to think that you could have Putin apologists running this country. I don't think it's going to happen. I stick with.
Are you calling Farage a Putin apologist?
Yeah, sure.
Do you not think that kind of language, Boris? I mean, so last night on Question Time, Zach Polanski, the new Green Party leader, I'm sure you're a big fan of his, he said that reform...
Sorry, if you say...
He said he was a far-right Nazi party. Keir Starmer called Farage the enemy. David Lammy went on the airwaves and said that Farage was affiliated with the Hitler Youth. Do you not maybe think in the light of Charlie Kirk, that kind of language... President Trump getting a bullet to his ear, avoiding assassination on a golf course, is the language a bit too much?
What do you call saying that NATO was responsible for provoking the war in the Ukraine, and saying that...
Who said that? Farage?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't recall that.
Of course he did. And what do you call saying that you admire the way Putin's been handling the war in Syria?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not here to defend Nigel, but I think
you're here to attack me for saying
I'm not
calling him a Putin apologist. I think that comes sweetly in the definition of apologising for Vladimir Putin, and I really, really think it's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's so that is for me the biggest foreign policy, or the biggest issue we face.
Concern with reform.
We really. I have other. The other concern is that look, I don't think there's a credible economic policy.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Robert Jenrick said there was no white faces in a part of Birmingham and he had an issue with that. Is that a sensible thing to say? I mean, have you got a problem with that? Our viewers didn't, just FYI.
Look, I mean, I think he was just making an observation about the place he was in.
Why are people upset with what he said?
I think if you're making it, I think honestly, here's what I think about that. I think that as a society, we are far too bruise easy about people saying things that they think. And as far as I can make out, Rob Jenrick was saying something that he was just actually honestly saying what he'd seen in a particular part of the country.
Yeah.
And it was a statement of fact. And I don't think actually anybody challenged him much on his account.
No, I think he's...
So if they didn't challenge him on his account, then why can't he say it?
I think he was just talking about assimilation and integration. I think most of our viewers would agree with that. Talking of sort of Islamification of cities and so on, in Italy, Giorgia Meloni, she's plotting to ban the burqa. Of course, you joked some years ago about women in burqas looking like letterboxes many years ago. Yes,
but that was in the context of an article that actually said that I didn't want to go around banning things.
Yeah. So you wouldn't support Meloni?
I'm more on the side of freedom. I think where I do have a problem is if you know, I think if somebody came into my constituency office where I was an MP and I had a complete surgery with them and I couldn't see their face at all.
It's a security risk, isn't it?
I think it's a bit difficult. Maybe in schools it's a bit difficult.
Would you so no ban to a burqa in the UK as it is?
I think
halal as well.
I'm against banning things because I'm against imposing dress codes on adults too much. You know, we're a free country. But right? I mean, Hamas doesn't let women go around with their heads uncovered.
No.
Okay. So.
All right.
We don't want to get into the sort of Hamas territory of imposing certain types of...
Got it. Last question. Digital ID. Pro, against, right idea?
I think it'll be HS2 online.
Is it not similar to COVID passports, to vaccine passports?
It will just cost an absolute fortune. And I don't know what problem it's trying to solve.
Well, they claim it's illegal migration. But
the way to solve illegal migration is bring back Rwanda.
Yeah.
Bring back Rwanda. We face a nightmare of thousands and thousands of people coming across the channel on boats. We could have fixed it, and we should fix it if we had the Rwanda policy, which is basically don't let them even bounce on you, hit them back on the volley.
The Home Office emailed everybody last night saying returns deals off the ground. Guess how many people they've returned, Boris? And also they cited Rwanda.
You said 26. 26.
26. Right, I'll let you go. How's the family?
All good.
Are you well?
Yeah,
are you missing politics? Mine are fine. I'm missing my voice.
Yeah, all good.
There was a poll from More in Common showing that if Jenrick was leader, the Tories would have no bounce. If Kemi stayed, no bounce. Right. And if you returned, guess what the bounce was?
I have no idea, but I'm going to bounce back to Britain.
6%. Are you coming back, Boris?
I'm going to bounce back. I'm certainly coming back to London. I've got to go there now.
Appreciate it.